welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to my 23 books I want to read in 2023. So today I'm going to be talking about the 23 books that I want to read this year. However, there's a little bit of a twist on it because 11 books that are on this list, I do not know what they are going to be. I'm going to choose them with you right now. So basically, one of my biggest goals of 2023 is to read more romance because I'm in my romance era, and of course, to finish series. I have been telling myself, I'm going to read more sequels. I'm going to finish more series. And you know what? I just haven't been sticking to it. So this year, I have a whole goal around reading sequels, and a lot of this stuff falls into it, but I'm going to make it even more of a priority. So basically, in this pot, I have all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of that I need to work on. I'm going to pick 11 slips here today, and those are going to be the books I'm putting on my 23 books to read in 2023 list. And then I have a stack of predetermined romances that I've already picked out that I will share with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these 11 slips, then I'm going to grab all the books and we'll talk it all over. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm nervy, to say the least, but there's a lot of slips in here, a lot of series. I'm so scared. Also, I don't mind my hair. I just got out of the rain and we're having a tough time. So, okay, here we go. Pull number one. I'm so scared. Vicious Lost Boys. Okay, I don't own the second book, but I can definitely move on with the rest of the series. Pull number two. Vampire Academy. Ooh boy. Not what I was expecting to go on this list, but okay, sure. Then we have Tattered and Torn by Catherine Cowles. Pull number four. Lumberjanes. Yes, I need to move on with that series badly. Okay. Pull number, what are we on? 5. Imperium. Oh, good. Yeah, I need to move on with that one too. You know what? This is going well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're on pull number 6. Number 6. We have The Ravenhood. Interesting. Okay. Again, not what I was expecting, but I'll take it. Up next, we have Nevermore. I am going to put this one back because I do not know if book 4 is actually coming out in this series. I don't know what I should do. I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'll pick a duplicate just in case. So let's see. Again, pull number 7. Briar U. Perfect. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay. Pull number 8. We're getting there. The Nevernight Chronicles. I only have one more left, so that's perfect. All right. What's next? What's next? Saga. Okay. Yes. I believe this is pull number 10. The Inheritance Games. Yeah, if the next book in the series comes out this year, then I will read it. I did already finish the core trilogy, but there's one more book coming out following The Brothers, so. All right, and Red Queen. Well then, let's do it. Okay, since we just talked about the series continuation, we'll talk about all of those. I'm gonna first quickly start with the ones that I don't own. The first one being The Ravenwood by Kate Stewart. The first one was Flock. I don't remember what the second one is called. Exodus, I believe. I would have to reread the first book in the series in order to continue on with this series, but I have been wanting to do it for a while, so this is the kick in the butt that I need. I don't really remember what this is about. I know that it follows a girl who is coming to live with her dad, and he is known for like running this town. He's not a very good person. She ends up meeting someone at the factory that her dad owns, and it leads to a relationship between him as well as another guy. I believe it is polyamorous, maybe? I don't really know. The ending was wild of the first book, so I'm definitely curious to see how the rest of the series continues. I also heard the series absolutely breaks your heart, so I am not prepared for that. Karina read it and absolutely loved it, but Clint read the first book and DNF'd it, so you know, mixed reviews. Hopefully, I will enjoy the continuation of the series. And then we have the Tattered and Torn series by Catherine Cowles. The first book I read was Tattered Stars, I'm pretty sure. That one was really good. It follows a girl whose father kidnapped a little girl when she was 5 years old, and she ended up turning her father in. And she comes back to this town years later, and the people in this town don't want her there, including her family, because they see her as a traitor, but also the family of the girl that was kidnapped really doesn't want her there at all. Well, really, it's just the brother of the girl that was kidnapped, and it's the relationship between the female character and the brother, and it does have like culty vibes, not culty as in the book, like cult. It has cult vibes, and it was really good. I loved it. It had a romantic suspense aspect to it as well, which was so much fun, and I've heard the series only gets better as we continue. I don't know what the second book is called, but I'll pop it on the screen so that you guys can see it, and I'm very excited for book 2. All right, let's run through the ones I also picked that I have physically, or at least the first book in the series. First one we have here is Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. I have been telling myself I'm going to finish off this series for far too long, and yet we are still here. So this is the perfect one to come out of the pot. I have loved books 1 and 2 in this series so far, and I'm really excited for book 3. I might have to do like a little recap of book 2 before I jump into this one, but I'm very excited. This definitely was one of the first adult fantasy books I ever read, and it was a very tough book for me to get through because it has footnotes and it's very political and there's a lot going on, but I just loved the characters and the writing style, and I just had so much fun with it. This one follows Mia Corvair, who is hell-bent on getting revenge for her family, and in order to do that, she decides to go to the school to become an assassin, and after she becomes an assassin, to spend the rest of her days enacting revenge on the people that killed her family. So I'm very excited to get to the last book. Hopefully I love it as much as book 1 and book 2. Then we pulled the Inheritance Games series. I did read the first 3 books in this core trilogy, but the fourth book is coming out following the Hawthorne brothers. I will leave the picture up on the screen. Can't remember what it's called, but I'm very excited. It is supposed to come out this year, so if it does come out and get published on time, then I will definitely read it for this 23 books to read in 2023. If not, tough shit. I'll just have one less book to read. And if you don't know what this series is about, it follows Avery, and she gets a letter saying that she has to come to this estate to collect her inheritance, but she doesn't know this person, nor does she know why she's getting an inheritance, but she shows up and finds out that she inherited millions of dollars, an estate, a basketball team, cars, everything, and the family didn't inherit much. And you spend the rest of the 3 books trying to figure out the game that the patriarch, or the person that left the inheritance, the game that he left for them, why Avery was chosen, and what it all leads to. I had so much fun with this series. It was great. So I'm very much looking forward to the end of this series. I don't really know. Keeping my mind open, but I'm very excited for it. Then we have the Briar U series. I don't know which book I picked off my shelves. I think this is book 3, possibly? I own book 2, I know for sure, but I don't know. This is the Briar U series by Elle Kennedy. I love Elle Kennedy. I really love this series. This is the spin-off series to the Off-Campus series, which you will see later in this video. But yes, I do need to continue out with the series. I have 2 more books to read, or maybe just 1 more book. I don't even know. I think it's 2 more books in the series that I need to read in order to finish it off. I love it. They are hockey romances. They are fun. They are fast-paced. The characters always have such great depth, and the chemistry between the characters is always just so palpable. And what I love about Elle Kennedy is she writes books that have a fun, wonderful, steamy, sexy romance at the center, but also deals with some tougher topics. So I'm really excited to see what the last 2 books in the series hold for me. Then we have the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. The next book I need to read is King's Cage. I didn't love book 1, but I actually really enjoyed book 2. So I'm very excited to get around to book 3. I have been putting it off for a little while because I haven't been in a YA fantasy era, mood, whatever we want to call it, but I am looking forward to continuing on with the series. I believe there is 1 more after this one. Who knows? I'll find out after I read the 3rd one. This one follows a society where the people are split up based off of their blood color. So the reds are like the lowest of the low, and the silvers are the royalty and the high nobility, and they have powers. However, Mare, the main character, ends up working in the palace for a short amount of time, and finds out that she is a red blood with powers, which shouldn't be possible, but it is. And her existence basically sparks a revolution, and it continues on from there. So I'm intrigued to see how the 3rd book is. If I don't end up liking the 3rd book, I will DNF the series. So I'm interested. All right, then we have the Imperium trilogy by Claire Legrand. Holy moly, just right over my head. The first book being Furyborn. Holy moly. I did just reread Furyborn with the anticipation of getting to book 2 because it was on my 22 books to read in 2022 list. Did I read it? No. So we're back at it again. The first book follows 2 timelines that depicts the story of the Sun Queen and the Blood Queen. If I'm incorrect about that, I apologize. But basically, the prophecy states that 2 queens are going to enter the world at the same time, and one is destined to save it and the other is destined to destroy it. But you don't know, as you're following these characters, who is who. And you follow a timeline that's in the past with the Sun Queen, as you are hoping that she is. And then you follow the timeline in the present with one of the other possible living descendants of the Sun Queen. And you're following her and her brother, and she is an assassin. It's kind of like a lot. It's a lot to explain. It was kind of hard to remember, which is why I read it again for the second time, but I'm curious to see what book 2 does since it left off on quite a cliffhanger. Okay, then we have Lumberjanes. Oh my goodness, I've had this series on my list for so long, so long. I read the first book, I believe, in 2020, and I have not continued on since, so I will definitely have to reread volume 1 in order to get to volume 2, but I am excited about it. It follows a group of girls who are at this camp for the summer, and they get into nefarious situations, and it's them trying to get themselves out of it. It was fun, it was fast-paced, it was light, it was easy. I don't go into these for like the best things I've ever read, but it's a fun time, so hopefully I can get to book 2, but I will have to reread volume 1. Speaking of graphic novel, we have Saga volume 4. I have read volumes 1 through 3, and I'm very excited to get around to volume 4. This is definitely a series that I have had a great time with. It is a Romeo and Juliet sci-fi retelling, which is absolutely so fun. It is definitely adult. There are definitely mature content going on up in here, but it's so much fun. And also the story is told from their daughter's perspective. Basically what sparks the war is these two people from opposing sides of the war, different species, end up having a baby, and this sparks a war, and the entire series is told from the daughter's perspective, looking back on their life, which is just so much fun. So I'm excited to get to volume 4. They just came back from their hiatus and wrote volume 10. I don't know if that's the end, but I will work my hardest to get through most of the volumes that are published. Then we have Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. I read this for the first book in the series last year as a reread. I did read the entire series as a teenager, and I loved it. And the reason I wanted to reread it is I wanted to know if it stood up to the nostalgia for me. I don't know if it's going to. I'm nervous for this one for sure, but I'm interested. I obviously own them for a reason, so I do want to read them. And I think that these will be easy reads for me just because I do remember so much of the story, and it brings back so many good memories for me, so hopefully I love it. Basically, if you don't know what Vampire Academy is about, where were you in the 2000s? Or 2010s, I should say. When was this published? 2008. Oh my god. I'm old. Holy shit. Okay, so yeah, if you went around the 2000s, this is a story following Rose and I don't remember the other girl's name, but Rose is a half vampire. The other girl is a full vampire. She is like a princess, and Rose is like, basically in this world, if you're a half vampire, you are destined to protect the full vampires, and Rose wants to be her protector, but they end up running away from the school because she doesn't feel that they're safe. They end up being brought back, and they end up in a very dangerous situation, and Rose is being trained by a teacher to become an elite bodyguard, and it's a romance between her and her teacher. Very taboo, which I love. So I'm excited to see what I think of book 2. And finally, of the ones that we've already talked about, we have The Never King by Nikki St. Croix. This is the Vicious Lost Boys series. This is a short novella series, dark Peter Pan retelling, but it's also White Shoes. The first book wasn't fantastic, I will not lie, but I'm definitely curious to see where the rest of the series is going to go. It definitely fell into more of a plot-less story, which was kind of disappointing, but it basically follows the descendants of the Darling family that get taken on their 18th birthday. Her mother was crazy because she was convinced that Wendy was going to be taken, and of course she was. I don't actually know if her name was Wendy. I don't really care. She ends up getting taken to Neverland, and it's a reverse harem between Peter and his Lost Boys. Interesting. I'm intrigued. There is a fantasy plot that happens at the end of this, so I'm curious to see where that goes. Hopefully I enjoyed it. All right, let's get into the romances. Oh, I'm so excited. I have 12 romances here that I am just absolutely pumped to get to. I do have to tell you there is one on this list that I do not own, and that is because it has not been published yet, but I'm very, very excited for it to come out, and that is Something in the Dark. Oh man. It's the second book to Things We Never Got Over. Things We See in the Dark? I can't remember. I'll put the picture on the screen. It's gorgeous. It's pretty. I'm so excited. It's by Lucy Score, and it's part of the Knock 'Em Out series. The first book was a small town, grumpy sunshine romance with fake dating, and I'm really excited for Nash's book. He is the sheriff of the town, and I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure it's a second chance, hate to love romance. They used to be friends. They used to be in a relationship, but now they're not, and they're gonna get back together, and I'm so excited. So I'm so pumped for that one. Hopefully I get it right on release and I can read it ASAP. I'm looking forward to it. But let's move on to the ones I do own. So first up, we have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ricci. I have had this book on my TBR for so long, and I don't know why I haven't read it. I've heard good things. I've heard that this is a very I don't know, divisive book. It's definitely one of those books that either you love it or you don't, and it is part of a very expanded series, the Addicted series and then the Calloway series. I don't know, but I've heard really good things, but I've also heard some mixed reviews, so I am definitely nervous. This book follows two addicts, one who's addicted to sex and the other one who's addicted to booze, and it is their rock bottom. That's what it says. I don't really know anything more about that. I believe it's Lily and Lowen? Is that right? I don't know. I'm excited to give this one a go. I've heard good things, and hopefully with it on this list, it'll push me to actually read it. I cannot continue this list without a Mariana Zapata. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I actually do not know anything about this story. I just knew I needed to read it. I have read Colty, I have read From Book Off with Love, and All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata, and I have loved every single one of them. 5 out of 5 stars. She is the queen of slow burns, so I am super intrigued to read this. This one says, Vanessa Mauser knows she's doing the right thing. She shouldn't feel bad for quitting. Being the assistant housekeeper, fairy godmother to the top defensive end of the National Football Organization was always supposed to be temporary. She had plans, and none of them included washing extra large underwear longer than necessary. But when Aiden Graves shows up at her door wanting her to come back, she's beyond shocked. For 2 years, the man known as the Wall of Winnipeg couldn't even find it in her to tell her good morning or congratulate her on her birthday. Now he's asking for the unthinkable. What do you say to the man who is used to getting everything he wants? I say yes. That's what I say. I'm so excited. Sign me up. I'll be reading this like yesterday. Then we have 2 back-to-back Ana Huang books. The first one being King of Wrath. This is the first book in her newest series, and I'm very, very excited for it. The audiobook for this book comes out in March, so I'll be waiting till then so I can listen to this book and get the full experience, but I'm very, very excited for it. All the books in this series are going to be like inspired by the 7 Deadly Sins, so I'm very pumped to see what Ana Huang does with these. I love her writing. Sometimes her execution doesn't always pan out for me, but her writing is something that I do really, really enjoy, so I'm very pumped for this. I don't know the full synopsis of this. I'm not going to. I just want to go in blind, and hopefully I really enjoy it. Speaking of Ana Huang, like I said, I have another book that I want to read, and that is Twisted Lies. I am hoping to read book 3 in this series this month, so I'm putting this one on this list as extra motivation to get to this book. My goal is to read this one in February so that I am freed up to read Kings of Wrath in March, and I'm very excited for this one. This is the fan favorite. I feel like everybody seems to absolutely love this book, and I don't even know what the golden words for this book are. I don't know if it's friends to lovers, I don't know if it's fake dating, I don't know what the tropes are, but I need to read it. Book 3 sounds like it's going to be right up my alley, so I'm very excited for book 4, and hopefully I love it. Christian and Stella. Sign me up. Then we have a BookTube book talk darling. Everyone seems to love this, and if I don't, I think I might cry. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I am terrified. I'm terrified of this book, but I've heard such good things. The only thing that scares me is this book is described as being messy, and almost every other messy romance that I have read, I have really not liked, but I have such high hopes for this. This basically follows a couple who were dating in the past, and the hero cheated on the heroine, and she was heartbroken, but they haven't been able to stay out of each other's lives, and they do things constantly to hurt each other, but they can't seem to walk away. They don't get an HEA at the end of this book. Their story continues in another book, so I don't know. I'm terrified, but I'm also really excited because if I love it, I could jump on the bandwagon. So wish me luck. All right, so we are doing our first fantasy romance that is on this list, and that is A Throne of Shadows by Tisonia Odette. I have no idea what this book is about. I bought it because under the cover of this one is absolutely stunning, and I was convinced that I needed it. Did I read the synopsis? Absolutely not. But now that I have it, I feel like I absolutely have to read it, because if I'm just going to buy a book for underneath the dust jacket, I need to prioritize it. On the back, it says, A Feisty Outlaw, A Conniving Prince, A Ward of Magic and Shadows. Interesting. Sounds good. Hopefully I like it. I have not been reading a ton of fantasy romance recently, but I'm very excited for this one. I mentioned Elle Kennedy earlier in this video, so let's talk about The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. This is the 5th and final book in the Off-Campus series. The first 4 core books are following one particular set of characters. This one, however, follows all 4 characters that we met in the original series, and it's like 4 short stories telling you where they are now and if they're succeeding and thriving. On the back, it says, 4 stories, 4 couples, 3 years of real life after graduation, a wedding, a proposal, an elopement, and a surprise pregnancy. Can you guess which couple is which? I love these characters so much. There's a particular character group in this series that I love and adore, and I cannot wait to see where they end up. So very excited for this one, and hopefully I can finally get to it. Oh my lord, I've had this book on so many freaking TBRs, it's ridiculous, and I still haven't read it. So this time, I'm really prioritizing it, I promise. And that is, oh, it's upside down, Dark Harmony by Lauren Thawaza. I'm gonna read it. This is the last and final book in the Bargainer series. I am currently working my way through the short story that comes before this book so that I can finally read this. I have the audiobook. I'm all geared up and ready for it. I just haven't read it yet. But I will. I promise I will. This is a fantasy romance book that follows a girl named Calliope? Is that her name? Calypso. Yeah, her name is Calypso, and she's a siren, and she ends up making a deal, multiple deals with this man called the Bargainer. Basically, he's known for making deals, and when he comes to collect, he is usually asking for a steep price. But Callie ends up with hundreds and hundreds of beads, as in deals from the Bargainer, and he leaves for several years after creating a relationship with Callie, and then 7 years later, he comes back, and he wants payment, and the first payment comes in the form of a kiss, and it just gets crazy from there. Oh my goodness. Also, kind of a suspense book because there are Fae soldiers that are going missing, and you kind of are exploring that as well. I'm very excited for the last book in the series. I just need to read it. My last and final fantasy romance on this list is Daughter of No Worlds. This is by Clarissa Broadbent, and unfortunately, I done did it again. So I bought this book because it's gorgeous underneath the underneath the dust jacket. Yeah, I done did it. But I really want to read it, so I'm going to. I've heard good things about this series as well as her other series, which is a vampire series. So if I don't love this one, I'm gonna try that one. I've heard good things, so I'm willing to give it a go. However, these don't have audiobooks, so I'm going to have to, you know, struggle my way through it physically, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. And the last two books are books that I got in my either Mystic box or Belle box that I just want to prioritize. The first one being Make Me Hate You by Candy Steiner. I have read a Candy Steiner book in the past, and that was, I can't think of the name, but I'll pop it on the screen right here so you can see it. It's like I can see the cover in my head, I just can't see the name. But I really want to read this one. I do not know what this one is about, honestly. I just know that I have read Candy Steiner in the past, and I was blown away by her writing. So I'm definitely willing to give her more of a shot. And it came in my Belle box, so why not? It's absolutely gorgeous. It is a special edition, and I'm excited to read it. And the last and final book that I have here for my 23 books to read in 2023 list is Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I am very excited to read this one. I have read 2 books by Jennifer Hartman now, and I have loved every single one of them. 5 out of 5 stars, so I absolutely had to read this. When it came in my Mystic box, I was like, sign me up. I don't know anything about this. The back has a very vague synopsis. It's not even a synopsis. It's literally just a quote. It says, "The lotus will bloom into the most magnificent flower, even when its roots are in the murkiest of waters." So I'm excited. I need to read it. I'll probably cry. I'll probably rip my heart out, but I'm excited. Okay, those are the 23 books that I'm going to read in 2023. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Also, feel free to let me know down in the comments below what you guys have as your priority reads for this year. I would love to chat with you down there. I am so excited to share this video with you. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Baby, turn it down like a sweet and ready. Go slow, keep it nice and steady.